Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. It's a pleasure to me to be here with all of you, presenting what has been my final research, my research during these 2 years. So, composing influenced by modern jazz. Yeah. Are musicians just creative, or do they borrow ideas from other musicians? Well, to create, you need knowledge, references, inspiration, and creativity. So, my feeling is that musicians are not just creative, but they borrow ideas from other musicians. As Isaac Newton said, if I've seen further, it's by standing on the giant's shoulders. So, for me, my giants, let's say my influences, are these 3 bands, or 6 bands, most of them piano trios, that they have in common certain things, like they are modern piano trios, so let's say modern since 90s till now. They have a special sonority that I really feel identified with it. This piano sonority with the piano, bass, and the drums. I don't know why, but it makes me super comfortable listening, and I feel identified with it. They have also in common that their compositions are just not straight ahead like in the traditional jazz. Like in the 50s, for example, you play a tune, it's head in, solos, head out, nothing else. But with these bands, the compositions are a bit more complex, with a lot of arrangement inside, that I really feel identified with it also. And the last of the common things of these 6 bands is the leadership of the bass. So the bass has a role, a most important role that in the traditional jazz, that I really feel identified with it, I guess because I'm double bass player. And somehow I want to say something, you know, I like to comp, but I also like to say something else. Further than these 4 characteristics that made me choose those 6 bands, there is also like particular elements from each band that you can see in the screen. Like for example, the odd meters in Avishai Cohen, the orchestration in Bad Class, or the mixing between the traditional and modern jazz of Brad Meldau. Also, the main thing I think for these 6 bands is that they made something different in the music. You know, they have a special own sonority that you can easily get, like when you hear some of those musicians. So, here comes my research question based on these 6 influences that I had. Like, can I incorporate ideas from other musicians and style in my own music? And from this big main question, I took 3 sub-questions like, what kind of elements could I borrow from other musicians? How can I incorporate those elements in my own compositions? And how can I make those elements part of my own style? So to answer those 4 questions, I developed this methodology based on 4 steps. First of all is transcribe a tune that you really like it. Play it. Second step is play it as faithful as possible to get deeper to the essence of the tune. Third step would be to make an analysis, formal, rhythmical analysis, melodic. And the last step, it would once that you do this analysis, you detect the element that you want to incorporate, and then in the last step, you incorporate it, but never forget to use your personal taste as a main tool. So once that I went through the methodology, I could answer the questions, and I realized that the 5 elements that you can see in the screen are the most relevant for me, and it was the ones that I would focus on at the time to create my compositions. And to the question, how can I make the elements I borrow part of my personal style? I realized that to have something personal, you need first to take something from others, mix it, like two elements, for example, you take them, you mix them, and then you alter them using your personal taste. That's what you get elements from other people just as your own creation. How can I incorporate those elements in my own composition? I'm going to show you right now. Just following a process, composition process, and an arrangement process that I will show you. The first tune is called Filete de Metal, and it's based on a groove by the Bad Plus and a melody by Esbon Svensson. So I already have the two elements that I want to mix and make them mine. The groove that I was inspired by, it came to me like randomly. I was listening this tune called Prins Incorporated by the Bad Plus, and I just hear the groove that is a simple 7/8 groove that I could get inspired by some other 7/8 groove. That just when I hear it, I said, wow, this groove, I don't know why, but I really like it. I want to show you first the groove. It's just a static bass line. The sonority that creates the piano behind just changes from major to minor. It's great. So once that I realized, oh, I want to know what is he doing. I just went to my bass and I said, okay, I'm gonna try to emulate what he's doing. So I started. Etc. So I said, okay, I got the groove. It's super easy. Let's try to do something inspired in this groove. So I create the groove that you can see below. It consists in. So I had already the main groove that I wanted to develop. So next step, it will be to develop the groove and put it in an 8-bar context. So like that, I could just start to create something. I could just leave it like that, but I wanted to do something else. You know, I was just playing around with the bass, and I came with this bass line. Once that I already had this line based on just this kind of pedal ostinato in the high register, and just going through the basses changing in the lower register, I said, okay, I already have the groove that I want to incorporate in my composition. I'm gonna give it a harmonic context. So having in mind the harmonies of the composition, the influences that you already saw before, I thought, okay, this is kind of not normal rhythm, it's not a 4/4 or 3/4 that we are more used to. So I'm gonna give it a really simple harmony to just get the groove like more bright, you know? So I would like to invite Jorge, that he has been with me these 2 years, playing with me, fighting with me, drinking with me, and I want him to stay here, and please. So this is the harmonic context that I create based on the bass line, just taking in mind the bass line and the top notes to create the quality of the chord. So please, Jorge, mind. I already have something. I want to develop a bit more. I was already thinking about a tune, you know, to have a tune in my repertoire. So I thought, okay, now I need a melody over this ostinato. So I thought, I really like the melodies that Esmond Svensson composed. I'm gonna get deep in those melodies. So I came with this, I hear this melody that is just based on pickups ending in long notes, as you can see here. Just pickups ending in long notes. So, and in 4/4. I wanted to incorporate that concept, right? So this is the melody. Based on this melody, I create my melody based on the harmonic changes that I already created. So, okay. I have the groove, the melody, and I wanted some contrast, you know, because I could create a melody, a tune with this melody, but I wanted something else. Develop the composition, so to have certain elements, more than one, to create the composition. So based on the concept of that the bass plus has of create tension with dissonance, I create this melodic line that every time I repeat it 4 times, and every time that it resolves, it's going more dissonant in the harmonic context. So please, Jorge, he's going to play the first, the second, the third, and the fourth one all together, and you can see with the left hand, and you can see the sonority that I was looking for. Bit of dissonance, more dissonance, super dissonant. That is what I wanted. Maybe in some jazz books it's a mistake, but I wanted that. So I already have the colors that I wanted to incorporate in my composition. So now I had to do the painting, right? So I just having in mind the compositions that I was listening, I came with the arrangement, thinking in just certain things, like, for example, the characteristics that I really like for example, the leadership of the bass. I just gave the bass the role to play the ostinato sometimes, and to play the melody just alone, to write, or maybe together with the piano, using unisons to create different moods. For example, in A1 you can see that using that unison with the piano, I can create a dense but delicate sonority, you know? So using those elements plus the orchestration. So what I mean with orchestration is I had 3 A's. I decided to put them like you can see in the screen. So once that I had the 3 A's, I thought, okay, I need to give it different sound levels. So I'm gonna use the first one, for example, as you can see, unison, melody, and right hand of piano. Second one, ostinato, unison with the bass, and the third one, just like open it with chords, just to have like another sound level that it doesn't sound like before. So with these 3 elements that I was focused on, I could say that I can create a strong sonority as a trio, based on these modern trios that I was influenced by. So now I'm gonna play the tune for you. I want to introduce Stefan Goranov, please. He has been with me also, these 2 guys have been with me a long time since we came here. I'm so glad that I can share these moments with them. So here it comes filete de metal. I hope you enjoy it, and maybe you can identify some of the elements behind. Well, this was the first composition where I developed this method to take different elements, as you could see, the melody, the groove, just give it a bit of my personal taste, change it the metric, change the chords, give it another context, and make it mine. It may sound like somebody else, but for me it sounds like me. So, next composition, following the same process that I already did, and I cannot show it because I don't have enough time. It's called Alpha Tango, and it's based on the rock feel and rock grooves that James Farm and the Bad Plus, they have this rock pop. So I want to incorporate it in my compositions. So here it comes, Alpha Tango. Hope you like it. Castañeda on piano. For the third composition, I wanted to include in my research. I was really amazed about the line cliches that I hear in different compositions. As you can see in Shy Maestro, Brad Meldau, Moisai Cohen. So I really love those three tunes, so I tried to incorporate this super diatonic melody over this ostinato. It can create something interesting. As I said before, I don't have time to explain it, all the process through I went. So here is the arrangement. Hope you enjoy it. It's called El hombre melancólico que se encontró 50 céntimos. fourth and last composition. It's called New York. Guess where I composed it? So I did it in New York, and it's based on this Abishai Cohen style that he mixes super diatonic harmonies with odd meters. So using this kind of interludes to paste parts of the tune. So I spent in New York 5 months, unbelievable, it was great with all those guys. Lot of histories about. Well, I would like to invite my friends Dani Juarez and Nacho de Frutos to the stage, please. I tried to extract the same composition process that I was doing applied to a trio of music, but in another context. Like, for example, now it's quintet with saxophone and guitar. And yep, that's it. I hope you enjoy it. This is the last composition, and it's called New York.
Y se pone la gorra.
We have a band, it's called the Machetazo. And with this, I finish my exposition. So, to the answer, can I incorporate elements from other music and styles in my own music? It's obviously that the answer is affirmative. Here are the 4 compositions and the process that I did to execute it. And well, you have, well, questions? Any questions? The presentation is over, so please, I will be more than glad to answer you.
If I might say so, Dario, thank you very much. This is a master exam, which is a combination of a recital and a speech or an explanation about research. And because this is a master exam, it's a part of this event is that the jury, but you are all invited, maximum it takes some 10 minutes I suppose, to ask Dario any question about his research, about he did it, about his playing, whatever you feel, what comes up to you regarding what happened this hour. So please, who wants to start with silence?
Let's feel like the metal in. It's a metal biscuit. Eh? Must be hard to eat. It's impossible. It comes from my background. You know? I had a punk band and we had a unit called Netherlads, so I wanted to incorporate it in my actual music.
I got a question. So this is a process. It's a technique that you researched and used. Can you say whether it has brought you to a place where you have more language inside you that's coming out, where you don't have to say use this as a technique?
I need it again.
Okay, you developed a method to help you compose, and I'm asking if, as a result of doing this for a couple years, if you can see or talk about whether this has made it possible for you to generate more material before going to other people's compositions just to get material. Like, in other words, do you have more coming from inside you now to compose that you wouldn't have to go just take elements of people's compositions you like?
You mean like I already have this process and just came from my mind? Like that?
No,
from
through
inside?
doing this process, has it enabled you to see that you could have more coming just from your mind? Has it, yeah.
The idea is, I think, that now you took elements of compositions you like, and now Steve, I think, said, so you take this and you put it there, and that's a process in order to actually to come more to yourself. But Steve asked, I think, like...
Yeah, do you have more, do you find that you have more material coming from within now as a result of this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I have. Oh, thank you. I have all these resources or all these mixtures that I did and these elements that I took. I think are part of my language, of composing language. So now, if I want to incorporate groove from another band and a melody from other, I think I could do it like this. Without going through the whole process, you know. Maybe I'm doing the process, but in a unconsciously way.
But are you also now able to generate your own groove
Well,
which is
I think that's
without having to go to, oh, I like the groove from this tune, so I'm going to use it.
It'll make you more creative, basically. No?
Yeah, are you
Yeah,
able
but
to access your own creativity without actually using this method?
Yeah, but what is creativity? I mean, because you can develop a groove, but suddenly that groove it already belongs to somebody else, and you didn't know.
Of course, but this method, as I understand it, is really to say, let's go to somebody else first, and then get some material and piece it together and find my own.
Yeah.
And I'm asking, as a result of doing this, do you notice, maybe not yet, maybe not, that now you would generate your own material and then notice, hey, this reminds me of that.
I think it's
instead
gonna
of going-
happen. It's gonna happen
Mhm.
sooner or later. For the moment, it's not happening because during these 2 years I just composed these 4 tunes based on this method.
Yeah.
But I guess that it should happen
Yeah.
soon.
Can I have a question related a little bit to that? Because you took it quite literal, it seems to me. Like you take a groove, or you know, from one band, and like the idea of a melody from the other band. But can you also see yourself maybe in the near future doing it in more abstract composition techniques, such as I don't know, like polymodality or certain harmonic concepts that you're taking from tunes? Can you follow the same process?
I don't know because you could, of course, you could follow the process. I'm not telling that you must take a groove or a melody. You can do whatever element that you feel like identified with it. But I think for me now, this is what I'm interested in, this sonority and this kind of grooves and sound that creates the piano trio with some other elements. So for now, I don't know. Maybe in 10 years I change my mind, but I guess I will keep in this way.
So, can you say something about the next couple of pieces you will write? What do you have in mind now? What
Finish the
what
master
you're listening to?
and then feel free to compose, because actually from Saint-Saëns I came back from New Year. I didn't do anything composing. I didn't compose anything. I just give some details to the tunes that I already had, because I now all this master, this thing, this 2 years that are ending doesn't allow me to compose or to get inspired.
Okay. Anybody else? Maybe from the jury or anybody? Yeah, Iveta.
I just wanted to ask if you had any like difficulties during this research process, or like did you have some struggles, or it was just like smooth? Okay,
I think it was easy. It was a natural way because it are my roots, you know, or my influences. Or I already had it in my mind, and I just had to put it in a paper. But I already felt like I should do this and that. You know?
Really?
Do you feel that you can write tunes that are closer to your soul than you could 2 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, now maybe one other question, and then somebody wants to ask something else. It's very interesting questions, and specifically the answers. So anybody who wants to.
You know, you guys came as a group and you guys played a lot together, but do you think that actually going to New York for this 5 months actually opened your mind to a concept that you would have thought of, you know, stuff that you wouldn't have?
Yeah, it was the most intense 5 months that I ever lived in my life. And I think unconsciously or consciously, in my playing now and in my inspirations, it comes all that experience that New York gave me. So.
You don't think you would have got it somewhere else, anywhere else?
Sorry?
You don't think you would have got it anywhere else?
Yeah. What exactly?
I don't know, you know, that stuff that you got from New York, you know, the stuff.
That you got from New York?
No, you know, you know, as I said,
down on Broadway.
you guys went as a group. For example, Disney, if you went alone, you think that you would have incorporated as much? Or you think that the fact that you guys
It would be a good experiment, because we were always together, and sometimes it was too much, sometimes it was super comfortable, so I don't know, I didn't experiment it. So in going to a foreign city, a city where I'm a foreign, alone in a jazz context or in a musical context, I never did it. So I couldn't say it until I go there alone. But I think that of course I will have another experiences and another influences in my playing and in my compositions.
Yeah? Okay. Anything urgent?
Yes.
Well, okay, thank you very much, Dario.